At 25 years old, I'm getting $1,020 a month from my dividends and CPF. In this video, I share how I'm able to get 6 to 7% dividend yields, including one stock at 15% dividend yield. And what if I told you that they are all super reliable Singapore blue chip stocks? Would you believe me? If you're new to the channel, I'm investing very heavily in dividend stocks as I plan to retire when I hit 2,400 dividends a month. Subscribe if you want to follow along my journey. I received $98 from Mapletree Pan Asia so far this year, but now I have 16,500 shares which cost $1.50. So theoretically, I will get $1,118 a year, $93 a month. So that's only 4.5% yield. The yield is low because Mapletree PAC decided to cut their dividends this year, so I screwed up here. Cutting dividends is a no-go in my book, so I'll probably liquidate this stock and reinvest it somewhere else. I also have the Straits Times Index. It gives me $130 a year, almost $11 a month. I have 1,000 shares at $2.60, so it's a dividend yield of 5.03%. Not too bad. I have a Hong Kong Index Fund which gave me 337 Singapore dollars this year, $28 a month. So far, that's $132 of dividends a month. Capital Land Integrated Commercial Trust gives me $104 a year, $8.70 a month. I have 1,000 shares at $1.90, so that's a yield of 5.5%. I only received $149 from Keppel DC REIT because I bought some shares after the first and second payment date. Otherwise, I will receive $510 a year, $42 a month. I have 5,000 shares which average $1.94, so it's a yield of 5.24%. So far, that's $183 a month. This year, I received $60 from Keppel REIT, so that's $4.90 a month. I only have 1,056 shares, which costs 0.9656, so it's a yield of 5.84%, not bad. Dividend stocks take up 2/3 of my portfolio and the remaining are growth stocks. An example of a growth stock might be VGT, which is 12% of my portfolio. So even though I have 220,000 invested, only 2/3 of that are giving me close to $700 a month. So those are all my stocks that are less than 6% dividend yield. I received $15 this year from Mapletree Logistics Trust, or $1.30 a month. I only have 220 shares, which cost $1.13, so it's a yield of 6.24%. I received $178 this year from DBS. They are going to pay dividends again later in November, so I recently bought more DBS shares. I bought these 100 shares a long time ago at $15.22, and because they're giving $2.3 per share this year, that's a dividend yield of 15.1%. So I regret not buying more DBS shares last time. Even now at $33 per share, it's still 6.9% yield. Note that this is because DBS paid a special dividends this year as well. Now that I have 300 shares, I should expect $690 a year or $57 a month. So this is my dividend investing philosophy. The stock must be at least 5 years old, that means it's a pretty reliable company. I'm looking for above 6% yield and increasing DPU. DPU stands for Disease Prevention Unit. Just kidding, it's distribution per unit, or how much dividends you get per share. Increasing DPU is the most important for me, because that's also an indicator that the company is doing well. With these three principles, I should expect to receive increasing dividends over a long period of time. I received $460 this year from Mapletree Industrial Trust. However, since I bought it in the middle of the year and the payout for December hasn't come in yet, I would have got $1,217 this year or $101 a month. I only have 9,086 shares, which cost $2.22, so it's a yield of 6.03%. So far, that's $348 of dividends a month. I received $1,978 this year from OCBC, that's $164 a month. I only have 2,500 shares, which average $11.30, so it's a yield of 7.03%. It's such a high yield because I bought OCBC when it was $9.58 before, so it's one of my favorite stocks and I want to put more money here as well. So far, that's $513 of dividends a month. I received $347 so far this year from Frasers Logistics and Commercial Trust. They are going to pay later in December, so I'll get $2,205 a year. That is $184 a month. So that's an average yield of 6.37%. So far for all these stocks I mentioned, I get almost $700 a month as dividends. However, that's only 5.8% yield because I bought low dividend yield stocks before. So the plan now is to sell the low yield stocks like Mapletree Pan Asia and buy more DBS, OCBC, Frasers Logistics and Vanguard as a growth stock. Lastly, make more YouTube videos. I know getting monetized is really hard, but I can't believe that I may actually be able to do it and possibly make YouTube into another income stream. So thank you to all who subscribe and watch my videos. Anyway, including the dividends from my growth stocks like VGT, VUG, SIA Engineering and other small stocks, I get $732 a month as dividends. I know in another video my dividends per month was higher, That's because I used last year's dividends numbers. So now that this year's dividends have come out, and unfortunately, some companies have cut their dividends. So based on this year's numbers, I get $732 a month. So that's why I have a rule to only buy increasing DPU stocks. I love dividend investing because even when the market is down like now, as you can see it's all red over here, dividends are largely resilient to market swings and are a much more stable stream of income. So all these red numbers at the side don't worry me too much. But that's not all. I put money in CPF as well, and CPF also pays interest of 2.5% for OA, 4.04% for SA and MA, and an additional 1% interest on the first 60K in CPF. So I calculated that's $288 of interest per month. That's over 4% yield. So my total returns becomes 732 plus 288, which is $1,020 a month. It makes sense to count CPF as part of my returns because I put money into my SA on top of my employer contributions, and because I plan to use the money in CPF for investments, housing, or medical expenses. So I'll probably make this video once a year to keep you guys updated on my portfolio growth. If you guys are interested, do consider subscribing. If you're interested to know my retirement plan, watch this video here.